recommend the firm for the external audit services. So our office received, per the chair's approval, we received all four of the proposals that are, all four of the three recommendation proposals from the Wayne County Airport Authority. I do. And part of our process, we went through and we looked at the qualification of the Airport Authority employees that sat on the evaluation committee. They all appear to have relevant backgrounds and work experience. We found them more than acceptable and qualified to assess the proposals. We assessed the evaluations of the proposals, and we also did a limited review of the three proposals that were deemed responsive, along with the results of the committee's evaluation summary, which included evaluation criteria of applicable scores for experience qualifications, project approach, work plan, and the timeline. We also considered pricing as part of the evaluation, but it was not the sole determining factors. Based on the review from the OAG, we recommend that the commission direct the authority in accordance with applicable sections of the Act to contract with Plant Moran PLLC to provide external audit services for the fiscal year ending 2025 and 2026.
Okay, do you have any comments from Airport Authority?
None.
None. Questions or discussion from commissioners? Do we have a motion? It's been moved by Commissioner Garza, supported by Commissioner Peterson Mayberry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? And motion passes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with 1 2-year option to renew with Plant Moran PLLC for the external audit financial services for the fiscal years ending September 30, 2025, 2026, and 2027.
Marcy?
For the charter, our office is the contract manager for the external audit services for the county's independent and single audit. We went out for bids for the audit. We received a total of 4 bids. An evaluation committee was established. It included 2 members from the Department of Management and Budget, 1 member from our office. Felicia Johnson served as a non-voting member along with myself. We went through all the proposals. The committee did their evaluation, and it was recommended that Plant Moran receive the contract for the fiscal years ending September 30th, 2025, 2026, and 2027. And part of that contract, 15% will be going to Allen C. Young and Associates.
Okay. And I do believe we have a representative from Plant Moran with us on Zoom.
Yes, yes, we do. We should have Rumsey Madul on Zoom.
All right. Do we have
Or
any?
Keith Shermanski's on Zoom.
Okay, great. Hello, thank you for joining us virtually. Do we have any questions or comments, discussions from commissioners for this contract? Commissioner Colleen.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Over the time, especially the 20 years I've been on the committee here, it seems to get more and more challenging for a public body such as ours, of our size, to find a public somebody that will audit, a firm that will audit it. So of the 4 proposals you scored them all?
Yes, all 4 proposals are scored.
Did all 4 meet the, what do they call it, responsive, and
All 4 met the minimum qualification.
they all 4 met the, and what was the spread in the scores?
Don't have it. It was quite a significant spread. I would say probably about 80 points difference. I'd have to get the scoring tally to look at it, but there was a difference in spread. I think it's part of the package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
384.
And so that kind of indicates, again, trying to find
Yes,
an external auditor for a public body of our size.
someone with the capacity that can get the audit completed
Capacity,
on
that's-
time and the complexity
yeah.
of the county with all the moving parts that it
Okay.
has. Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Can I get a motion to approve? It's been moved by Commissioner Peterson Mayberry,
I'll support that.
supported by Commissioner Colleen. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? Motion passes. Thank you for joining us online.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. With that, Madam Clerk, next item. Let's move back.
Moving back to unfinished business, item 1. Forwarding a letter from Plant Amaran PLLC, the county's independent external auditor, providing a required communication to the Commission, Committee on Audit, and the county executive on the results of its audit of the county's September 30, 2024 financial statements and related annual comprehensive financial report.
Marcy.
I'm going to have Yogesh Kasani, the Deputy Chief Financial Officer, join us. He will be here for all of the issues. What this is at our last meeting, Plant Moran came and presented the findings from the external audit along with the single audit findings. This where they went through all the detail, the criteria, the condition, the recommendation for each finding. This meeting is where we're going to meet with each of the auditees so they can explain the corrective action they plan on taking to address each of these findings. So I thought we could do it in sections. We'll start with the M&B findings and then we'll go try and get all of them together, then go to the others. But I think Yogesh would probably be here for all of them.
All right, sounds good.
And I'll have my guests introduce themselves, and then as the other guests come up, I'll have them introduce themselves at that time.
Okay. All right. Yogesh, if you want to introduce yourself and your team.
Good morning again. My name is Yogesh Kisani and I'm a Deputy Chief Finance Officer of Management Budget. Glad to be here and thank you, this honorable body, for providing me an opportunity for going into the findings once in a year, of course. And I have with me my Assistant Director of Finance Reporting and a Director of Grants. I will let them introduce themselves.
And just make sure that your microphone is on, please.
What do you back?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amar Rushing. I'm the Assistant Deputy Director, Financial Reporting for Management and Budget.
Good morning. I am Shantika Bullard, the Grants Director under M&B.
Does anyone in the committee need a copy of the summary of the findings that we're going to be going through?
Is that this one?
Okay. Our first finding, it was a finding 2024-001. It was a repeat finding and it was a material weakness. The condition of the finding is the county's general ledger and underlying financial records were not reconciled and closed in a timely manner. There were numerous adjustments that have been made and identified by management, which were instead identified during the audit of the county and the component units. It was also identified that the county misallocated penal fines when distributing them to the libraries over the last 10 years. The recommendations the county should work with all departments to ensure that each has adequate resources to fully and accurately reconcile and record the activity throughout the year and identify and record year-end entries prior to the start of the audit. An independent review of the reconciliations and trial balances prior to the start of the audit would assist in identifying and correcting the potential errors.
Okay. Yogesh.
Again. So again, this is a material weaknesses and I can see it's a repeat finding. So obviously everybody has a concern. So few things, there are reasons. We're going with like last year, went to a new system. HCM, we went live around like July, part of that. Then I call it regular, our practice is, right? We have a 60 days property tax recognition. So obviously counties such as largest county in Michigan, we just cannot close our books on 30th September because 60 days we have to wait for property tax recognition. Then 90 days is our grant recognition. That's our just accounting policy. So by the time when we're trying to gather those information, it's almost 90 days are gone. So that's just a part of our practice, coupled with other, again, I don't want to repeat my gas beast spill, new gas beast comes, and those analysis needs to be done after year end. We just cannot do middle of the year because you just want to make sure all the cash are posted, all other transactions are posted into the general ledger. So again, entities such as large, we just cannot close books 30th of September. But obviously what we're trying to do, and hopefully with this new system that we are going to go live on October 1, and obviously once we stabilize after a few months, 9:30, not 25, but 9:30, 26. We are hopeful that we'll be able to close, some of the books, and there will be a lot of automatic transactions and so forth. So we are trying to kind of, count on these new systems. But at this point, as it's going on, and as we know, right now we are on 11th month, August. The next year, September, is going to be closed. So we just don't have a sufficient time to, tackle those whole findings. Having said that, we still started working with these findings, in middle of the year too. So as much as we can do, definitely we're trying to resolve some of the findings, repeat findings, and some of them are new findings, which is I call it a one-time findings. I mean, we should be able to, address those.
Okay, so this has been a repeat finding since 2017. And so you're saying that the reason is because of the property tax and grant recognition takes 60 days. So you're not able to close books ever on like a monthly basis because of that?
So we are closing the books for all 12 months, right? 11 months get closed. Like we have like a 10th business day that we close our general ledger, right? And then when September comes, we have to keep it open in order to, book all the transactions. But there's a property tax, grants, any new gas bills, any other accrual, a lot of invoices comes later on. A lot of grant revenue, recognition, billing, and so far this will come. So that's kind of takes a time. It's not that we can do and it's not happening. It's just part of this practice.
Okay. Marcy?
So do you believe when the new system is implemented, there's adequate training from all the entities that are using the system? Because I know you can't close your areas until elected officials and departments close their areas. So do you think the new
Absolutely at this point, because there's a lot of training will be needed throughout the other elected offices, who are having a grants and other billings and so forth. And obviously, I guess new, M&V structure hasn't finalized yet. But if that's the case comes up, then definitely will help us out that, or our central accounting probably would be doing more analytical work, so to speak. Yes, we definitely have a hope.
I would add too, and if we could have training at the entity levels and elected officials level, so there's more adequate review and reconciliation on that side prior to it coming into M&B.
Absolutely. Yes, we do agree. And I think our ERP team is working toward this training and a lot of other materials and so forth. Yes.
All right, great. Commissioner Kling?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this finding is a general finding about our systems, but it's also mentioned in here specifically with the libraries. And the commission's going through and approving settlements with various communities. I don't know if we have them all yet, but my understanding was on the library thing, the person, I believe in MMB, that took care of that left the county, and we were left without somebody trained in that, how to calculate the penal tax for the libraries. Is that it? We were missing somebody?
Okay, Commissioner Killeen, yeah, that's the last line. I think I will let Treasurer's Office to address that. I think this is
Out of the Treasurer's Office.
This is a part of the Treasurer's Office.
I'll wait for the Treasurer's Office. Thank you.
Somehow it just got added in this line. But,
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, I have seen a lot of those contracts that we are going through with different communities, and this body and other bodies are approving those, penal fines.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I will let them address that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Peterson, Mayberry?
Thank you. So I know we have a new system being implemented. You said October. Is that when the new system is coming on?
We are planning to go live on October 1 for our financial system, ERP.
Yes, for that part. And so what does training look like? So what type of timeline does training look like and how deep does the training go with personnel?
I think our change management team and our separate team from our PMO department, they are working on this totally whole training. It could be an online training, and what they're trying to introduce, they call online help too. Something, when you click in, like when you go to Amazon, if you have a question, you click on questions, they may have customized script and say, what do you do? So that will be there. So that will be online, in person, whatever the training, we can do that. So.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next
Finding
item.
number 2, which is also a material weakness and repeat finding, the county lacked appropriate overall monitoring of account balances during the year in order to compile and complete accurate financial records that resulted in many audited proposed journal entries. The recommendations county should develop overall monitoring procedures to aid in ensuring that all activities in a fund is complete, accurate, and logical. This includes assigning appropriate individuals to each general ledger account, as well as several individuals who will be responsible for this entire general ledger and financial statements to perform monitoring and analysis and adjustments. And I would say this finding kind of probably goes hand in hand with finding number 1.
Right. Thank you.
Oh,
I mean, through the chair. Yeah, this is same reasoning, I think.
Moving on to number 3. This one also involves a budget director, and I don't believe anybody from the budget department is here. Am I correct? So we'll just,
Yeah, but I can address
You-
that. I can address this.
number 3 is the condition, instances where the county was not in compliance with laws and regulations. For example, general fund, roads fund, and multiple non-major governmental funds, actual expenditures exceed the approved budget. The county has not quantified the amount to be escheated to the state of Michigan and therefore has not escheated required items by September 30th. Original budget, amended budget for Raise the Age Fund, and the original budget for the CDBG fund would have resulted in projected fund deficits. County did not approve and adopt a budget for the Wayne County Building Authority Special Revenue Fund, and the county incurred costs before the year end, but did not amend the budget until after year end. The recommendation is county implement a process that identifies specific individuals for identifying and monitoring applicable compliance requirements throughout the year. In addition, the county should file a voluntary disclosure agreement when submitting achievement to the state. This also is a is a material weakness and material noncompliance.
Okay. Again, I'm going to address, bullet by bullet. But 2 good news is, building authority, we already have a budget for our current year, 24-25.
Oh.
Okay. And again, it doesn't come to this body for approval. It has to be approved by building authority board. And again, this is just I call it special revenue fund where there's Inkster and Hamtramck transactions are happening. Obviously, the auditors just following the books, which they should, because there's not that many transactions. In Inkster, Hamtramck just goes to the trust, and it's just bad flow-through transactions. But we have been doing our debt, building authority has a debt, so we have been doing this budget for many, many years. So just want to let you know. Escheatment policy, I think we just spoke a few days back, and I think our chief of staff to the CFO, we are just in the process of finalizing the escheatment policy. And once that policy will be finalized, then obviously we'll be looking our outstanding accounts payable, outstanding payroll, and we'll just have to have a cutoff and say, okay, 3 years, 5 years down the line, how many years those are. And we'll be working with the treasurer's office closely on that, and we should be able to take care of that.
Okay.
Others are, again, these are going through, we are in 11 months now. So throughout the year end, throughout the year we are going, what we have implemented now, and as you can see, I believe so, we submitted 3rd quarter budget versus actual to Ways and Means, or I'm not sure which committee, but so we started, which we were not doing for last year or 2, but what we started doing that since we have a new person who is just looking data, financial planning and analysis. So kind of give us a little early warning and say, which one is going to go over projected. So I think we already submitted second quarter, I believe so, budget versus actual, and we are working diligently to the third week too. Third quarter, I think it's ready. It's just for CFO's review or for my review. So I think that will help us out overall this projected budget or whether general fund, road fund. And then we are contacting, each and every offices we need to be and say, this is a projection of 9 months, next 3 months. If it's going to be at the same rate, then we'll end up with a deficit. Best way, if we need a budget adjustment, let's make sure we can do a budget adjustment before September rather than coming to this, this honorable body around like January and February, hopefully. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I think that's what's key is making sure the budget adjustments are coming to the commission for approval before September 30th. I think we had a significant budget adjustment in January, February this year.
Mhm. Perfect. Commissioner Khalil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have on the books a deficit elimination ordinance. The quarterly, we go through and see where we are relative to the budget. Is that still being used? I wrote it. Are we doing that?
I think, Commissioner Clean, again, yeah, I think we had that discussion few months back, and that's why we started submitting this budget versus actually report
Yeah.
To this body, Ways and Means, or I'm not sure what other committees goes, but yeah.
Yeah, because it seems, that all sorts of flares and red flags would go up during the course of the year. And it looks like that first bullet point that refers to the general funds, the road funds, multiple non-major governmental funds is different than the last bullet point about costs incurred at the end of the year, where you might have a rush of expenditures towards the end of the year, where keeping the budget balanced throughout the year is ongoing. So we had a bunch of expenditures at the end of the fiscal year. I'm looking at the last bullet point where money was spent and budget adjustments did not come to the Ways and Means.
I believe so. If you recall, I guess a few years back, we used to have a 2 to 3 funds that we had to do in a deficit elimination plan. This year, we only had one fund. I believe it's raise the age. That was only one. Rest of them, we went to the state and state approved that. So only one fund ended up with a deficit. And it was too late. I was dealing with somebody at the prosecutor's office. It was too late. Again, certain things that happen is if this happens in November, we can take care. But if something has been identified again at the end of February or March, and we are trying to meet the deadline. So some of those things, we'll just let it go and say, you know what, important is March 31st. Obviously, this time we couldn't do it, but that's our target always. We have done for, at least in my tenureship, 9 years or 2 years out of 10. So certain things happens, and we just at that point we say, okay, let it go, because based on the materiality, we just don't look at that.
And the budget adjustments at the end of the fiscal year, is that governed by state law? Because I know it's a state law, right? So
Public Act.
yeah, it's okay. They're all public. So, because you kind of referenced it, right? That sometimes we get into this, we don't see it till February. What does the law require for when the deadline is? Is it the end of the fiscal year? Is there a 60 days at the end of the fiscal year? What's the law requiring for making a budget adjustments? Because I know I don't like it and the state doesn't like it. If 4 months after the end of the fiscal year go, oh, we got a budget adjustment for last fiscal year. So what is the legal framework around doing these budget adjustments and getting stuff closed out?
I mean, if you're talking about low, exactly, the Public Act is 30th of September. Before the year-end close, we
Mhm.
should have all budget adjustment. Again, this is my opinion. I don't know when this is written. Counties such as large like this, the volume of transactions that we have, we would not have any idea at 30th September, even though we can go close. Let's say if even though we do up to the month of August, we do all analysis, we still don't know some of the grant billing that we have received or not. So it's very difficult to look at that. Can we do a 60 days subsequent to year end? Yeah, that's possibility. That is possibility.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the compliance with the law, and I'm sure if you're a smaller community in Michigan, they have much smaller budgets. Do you know if like large counties, Kent, Oakland, Macomb, do they have the issues with getting closed out by September 30 and having all their budget adjustments in?
I don't know what their system is, but as far as during my research, they just has to get an extension from the state. Oakland County, one of those years, and Macomb County too, as
Yeah.
far as I know, just do my research. But I do not know about details about budget adjustments, whether are they doing it subsequent to the year end or not.
Do we ever get turned down by the state on having an adjustment? Because I'm thinking, maybe there should be a different set of rules from the state for units in the state that are much larger than the average. Does the state ever turn down an extension?
No, I think, again, to the chair, this year's I had a very good experience with the Department of Treasury. They gave us 60 days extension. Normally it's 30 days, but I explained the circumstances about cyber attack and so forth, and they were very cooperative with this. I said, it's glad to work with the state, definitely. Mhm.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, let's move on.
The next finding is related.
Did you have a question? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Garza.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to just address the few that we just spoke on, since they are repeat findings. I know the first one, 2017, 2018, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then several of them, 7, 8 years. But I just wanted to be clear, because I know that the new system going into place and implementing that for the department, are we saying that these will likely not come up next year in the findings with that new program that's coming online?
Okay. Again, through the chair, Commissioner Garza, I think when we are going to close 9/30/25, which is 11 months, I'm not expecting to resolve as that many repeat findings, like when you say general material weakness and so forth. But obviously, when we go with the new system, with tight internal control and how it's going to work, yes, we are expecting that 9/30/26 definitely will have a some different picture on all those transactions. Because 9/30/25 still will be done through, majority of will be done through a JD Edwards, our current system. Okay.
Marcy.
I was just going to add, I agree with Yogesh. I think the first 3 fines will probably be repeat fines in the fiscal year 25 audit, but hopefully we'll see them come off in the 26 once the new system is implemented.
Okay.
One thing, and Marcy, this is probably for you, and prior to last year's audit report, can you send the conditions or recommendations from the prior years from 2022 back for some of these findings that are repeat, just so that I could take a look at?
Sure, I have the same schedule that I prepared last year for the fiscal 23, so I can send that out.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Moving on to number 4, this one is with the sheriff's office, so I think we have individuals from the sheriff's office here,
Come on down.
and I'll keep the M&B team at the table.
Okay.
If they could introduce themselves.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vanita Terry, Chief of Administration, the Sheriff's Office.
Jackie Safransky, Finance Administrator from the Sheriff's Office.
Welcome.
This is the only finding, I believe, related to the sheriff's office. It's a material weakness repeat finding. As the county did not have procedures in place to ensure that the inmate property bank account was reconciled to the inmate cash balances for the jail management system and general ledger on a timely basis. And the recommendations, county should develop a process to ensure the inmate property bank account is reconciled to the jail management system and the cash reconciling items be reviewed for proper receipting to the state.
Okay. All right. What's the status on this one?
We have a dedicated employee that is reconciling the inmate bank account on a monthly basis. With the cyber attack that happened last year in October, we had to go back and recreate all of the reconciliations that had been done. So at this time, we have yet to forward those to M&B or the Treasurer's Office, but we are currently through the month of May, working on June and July right now.
Okay. Do you expect this to be another repeat finding next year?
It may be a repeat finding, but I know, as I said, I have a dedicated employee, we have a process in place, and I can look at for fiscal year 26, we should not have this finding at all.
Okay. Will the new system change anything with how like the current incoming inmates?
To my knowledge, because this is an off-ledger account,
Okay.
we are looking at using QuickBooks right now to
Mm.
reconcile this bank account. It is a very large, with a lot of volume continuously in and out. So we're looking to QuickBooks because the jail management system that we currently have in place is not designed as a financial system. It's designed to house our inmate information. So that has been a challenge through the years. The Sheriff's Office have used Excel as their way of reconciling. But we are looking, as I said, to work with QuickBooks.
Mhm. Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Peterson, Mayberry?
Thank you. Ms. Terry, thank you. So you said May has been completed, working on June and July. This dedicated employee, are they full-time, are they permanent, or are they a temporary employee to get us up to speed?
This employee is a staff AUG employee from Pierce Monroe.
Okay,
So she works on, excuse me, bank reconciliation as well as some of our payroll issues since the Oracle implementation.
okay,
However, as she continues to work, I have a new employee that just joined our finance team that she will train to ensure that they'll be able to pick this up.
okay. So, through the chair, so that employee will be responsible for the reconciliation?
Yes, and before I send these reconciliations over to treasurers and M&B, I review them all.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything to add from M&B or Marcy? No. Okay.
We're going to move on.
And-
Next would be the treasurer's office.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit here because I want to hit all the treasurer's office at one time while we have them.
Here we go. Good.
If our representatives from the treasurer's office can introduce themselves.
Yes, just make sure your microphone is on. I should have a green light lit up. Okay.
Good morning, Jean-Pierre Adams, Chief Deputy Treasurer.
No?
There you go.
Soraya Williams Farber, Supervisor of Cash Management and Technologies.
Melissa Evans, Tax Accounting Administrator.
I'm John Kravitz, and I'm the Investment Manager.
The first one is finding number 5 of material weakness or repeat finding. And the condition was the county did not have procedures in place to ensure that balances within the cash receipts funds were properly reconciled at year end. And the recommendations, the county should develop a process to ensure the balances within the cash receipts fund are reconciled timely and accurately.
So, first thing I'd like to mention is the same thing everybody else has mentioned, that we had so many difficulties last year because of the hacking with reconciliations. Our files were wiped out and we had to go back in and reconcile accounts from February through the end of the year. we ended up with staff augmentation to assist us in doing that. I think we completed that in January of 2025. So those issues did present difficulties for reconciling accounts throughout our department. We know that this is a repeat finding and it's related to mapping. And the mapping, as you all may have heard before, is our PTA system to the general ledger. And so when we find errors, we correct them. In this instance, we did a manual process to correct the reconciliation and remap those accounts. So going forward, we hopefully will not have that issue. I am concerned about mapping to JD Edwards or the new Oracle system going forward because my staff has identified some deficiencies in the Oracle or Oracle has said there are certain things that they cannot do with our PTA system. So we are working through programming on our end to address those deficiencies in the Oracle system going forward, but we will see how that works out this year.
Commissioner Kleen.
Thank you. You're using the acronym PCA?
PTA, Property Tax Administration.
PA. Okay.
PTA. And that's our proprietary tax administration system where we receipt in all of our tax
I was
revenue.
afraid we were still hearing about Peter Chang from a previous,
Okay.
goes back a little way. Thank you, man.
Any other comments, questions on this item? Okay.
We'll move on to
from
number 7, which was a significant deficiency. The county did not have procedures in place to ensure that the balances within the undistributed tax fund were properly reconciled at year end. And the recommendation is the county should develop a process to ensure the balances within the undistributed tax fund are reconciled timely and accurately.
So this is a repeat finding and we have identified that this is a historical issue. Melissa, you can go into more detail on this.
So, yes, this is, like Chief said, this is a historical issue that goes back years. So what Dave from Plant Moran recommended is that we essentially just start over with these accounts because the time that it would take to go back to, but I think we looked at 2010 to date, it's not worth it.
So an adjustment is
So
being
we're
made.
going to make an adjustment and we will work with the necessary stakeholders to make sure that we do this right.
Okay. Okay. Any questions? All right, next item.
We're going to move to number 10. This is a new finding, material weakness. For one bank utilized by the county, certain individuals were able to initiate wires without the need for a secondary approval, and management should implement stronger controls in place over wires to ensure that secondary approval is needed for all wires out of the county bank accounts. I just want to indicate, I believe Plant Moran indicated at the last meeting, while there was not secondary approval in place, there's nothing unusual happening in the transactions.
So we disagreed with this finding. And the reason why is that it was one account with basically our money market fund where they did not have a process in place for dual approval. I believe they were bought out by a new company and they implemented the dual approval process. And as soon as we were notified of it, we did enroll in that and we do have dual approval over requirements over that account. So we did disagree with this finding.
And then also prior to that, we had an internal policy where when we did send a wire, I would send an email to Chief Adams and the treasurer, and they would reply with an approval. So we would include that email with our transaction, and that's in the daily folder. So they could have pulled any of those trades to see that it was also approved.
So we had our internal process, but it was not at the actual fund institution until they gave us the ability to do
Yeah.
that.
And now we have it.
But at this time, there is now the need for the
Yes.
account requires a second approval.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're good on that one.
Right. Except for within the findings itself, within the single audits, and management agreed with this finding. So I'm not.
No, we disagreed in our response. My response to Michael Bridges was that we disagreed.
Okay, we're going to check this one. Unfortunately, Michael Bridges is not with us, so I'm going to check this one.
Okay.
And we'll let you know.
It is addressed in the future, though. I mean,
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right. But we did not think it should be a finding. Okay.
Moving on.
Okay.
Any questions? The last one is number 14 for the treasurer's office. While significant improvements have been made over the past several years and the county does have adequate procedures in place, the county lacked the operational effectiveness to ensure all bank accounts were fully reconciled to the general ledger with only the necessary items, and this was done on a timely basis. The recommendations, the county should develop a bank reconciliation process to ensure the reconciliations are complete with only the reconciling items on a timely basis. And this is a joint finding with the treasurer's office, management and budget, because I think it's a two process for the reconciliations.
So I'd like to say from the start that we were not made aware of this finding, so we did not have a chance to respond to it. So I think it's more appropriate for M&B.
Thank you, Chief.
Uh-huh.
Again, to the chair, yeah, this is a joint effort, and I would say the way finding itself says, yes, we made a significant progress on that. There used to be like 2 to 3 pages unreconciled item. Now there is only like half a page. And we are still working on that. As we say, this is joint efforts because of the voids and so many other variables are included in there. So we just have to have a continuous communication, and there's a timing. And there's sometimes staff transition. So, but other than that, I think we would definitely would have some better results this year.
Questions, discussion?
That's the last one with the treasurer's office.
Commissioner Clean?
Thank you. Before they leave the table, you heard my question earlier.
I somewhat heard it. I know it was related to.
Was it a
penal fine.
personnel problem with the penal tax and
So-
getting the appropriate amounts settled with all of our local libraries?
I'll take this, Melissa. Okay, so through the chair. I think that the way it was framed publicly
Yeah,
was
that's-
slightly inaccurate. I
Okay.
mean, there was a personnel issue, there was a change of the
Yeah.
guard, but we know this problem goes back to before 2014. So we know it was at least 10 years in the making. And that change in law was not picked up as part of our procedure. So
Did the settlements go back those 10 years?
we are still negotiating.
Sorry?
We're still negotiating a number of those.
Yeah, because these are, some of these amounts, when you're looking at local small libraries with small budgets,
Mhm.
138,000 can mean a whole lot to those.
Mhm.
And I'm a big fan of public libraries and having them funded properly. So where do we think we're at with that then going forward? Once these settlements work their way through, we still have to figure out a few?
We still have to figure out a few, and we're working closely with the Office of Corporation Counsel, who is advising the Committee on Ways and Means in closed sessions on the status of those
Okay.
negotiations.
Well, I hope what we're doing takes care of this going into the future.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I know.
And we have corrected that, so,
Okay,
okay.
thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us
Thank you.
today.
Good to see you too.
Next one, number 6, we're coming back. This is just a management and budget one. It's a material weakness, repeat finding, but it's only been since 2022. The county did not have procedures in place to ensure that balances within the fiduciary funds were properly reconciled at year end. Necessary activities were appropriately moved to the general fund. And the recommendation is the county should develop a process to ensure the balances within the fiduciary funds are reconciled timely and accurately.
Again, to the chair. Oh, I turn it off. Oh, thank you. To the chair again, I believe so this is a new finding this year. Again, this is strictly related to our, I don't want to repeat again, GASB 84, which only we can analyze this transaction as the year end, the way bookkeeping and the way accounting is being done. When all the cash transactions are posted, and then we have an another consultant looks at this, holistically, what's going on in there, because of changes there are certain things used to known as a trust fund back then, SB 84 came, they changed it and say, oh, this is not any more trust, because unless you have an legal documents, those are not trust, those are custodian. So now we have to move. So we are posting and we are doing bookkeeping as it is in the JD Edwards, because if we change this, then we have to change a lot of things with the treasurer's office, because we have two sides of coin when we are posting the cash. Treasurer's office has software, which is, again, linked directly with the JD Edwards. So it's a lot of efforts that we have to change in there. So our plan was, since last 2 years, that when we go in a new system, and if treasurer comes on an Oracle or any other softwares, then that might get resolved at this point. But other than that's particularly a new one in this year. And I think this year it took us a lot of extra time because of the HCM implementation in July, August, September. So those 3 months were transactions. And also some lateness, right, from the cash posting, again, as Chief just indicated, because of the cyber attack and other issues. So again, delayed in the transaction recording.
I do have a question. Thank you, through the chair. So just so I'm clear, so some of the findings are more about procedures not in place. So there's this act of not reconciling is one thing, but then not having procedures in place is another thing. So the recommendations are that we are putting procedures in place so that there are not repeat findings after the procedures are in place. Is that correct? That's how we're moving. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Sorry, Commissioner Garza.
This is mostly just a general statement, not question to anyone, but I just wanted to point out, and I know that the cyber attack from 2024 was brought up quite a bit today. And I just want to say, especially for the findings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even with the 2024 cyber attack, there's still many repeat findings. So I just wanted to make that clear that these aren't first time findings that we're looking at. Many of them have been happening for many years. So while I do appreciate for the 2024 fiscal year that is a reasoning behind some of these findings for that particular year, I think these have been happening for quite a few years. So I look forward to next year and making sure that a lot of this is taken care of over the next fiscal year. But I just want to be very clear about these first several findings have been happening for 7, 8 years in some instances, some of them for less time. But I wanted to just make that very clear as we're having this committee hearing and moving forward. Because I know a lot of the next findings are first year findings, but I wanted to make that point before we move on. Thank you.
Commissioner Colleen.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank Commissioner Garza for his comments. I was going to make a comment at the end of the, and I don't know if anybody wants to opine on this, right? But the structure of county government is unique. And we have these independently elected executives that have their own procedures and how they do things that don't necessarily mesh with MMB. If you're in the city of Detroit, the treasurer, the prosecutor, they're all under one umbrella and can have one. So how much just the structure of county government with having these, for lack of a better phrase, these 5 kingdoms out there that a lot of times have their own rule. How difficult is that? And is that spoken to in we got a new system coming. Will there be more consistency all the way across all of the county then?
And through the chair, I think I wouldn't say it's difficult. And what you're referring to, kingdom and all elected offices, yes, they have their own procedures. Again, I would say it does get challenging at the year end to get the information, because we can only process the information what we get it. So they have their own standard of procedures, SOPs that they are following, which they're supposed to follow. if I can give a good example of our interest allocation files, treasurers, they have a reason, but sometimes it takes us a time to get to us, a few months even, because there are certain reasons. Their software, they're trying to upgrade the software. So again, I don't want to say we have been held hostage, but there are certain things that we have to take those information from all other offices, whether it's a grant billing, whether it's an accrual, and so forth. So at some point, like December or January, I try to put a little foot down and say, I'm not going to accrue anymore if it's more than $25,000. Okay? Because transaction keeps on coming. And we just cannot, because if I'm going to accrue something $50,000, now auditor has to audit again other stuff. And at that point, for us in MNB, we're just trying to make sure that we are following our deadlines, in our mind. So, I mean, we are working very closely and collaboratively, I would say, but there is challenges are there, which we know we've been doing for this last 8-9 years. So we are working.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty on that, because that's one thing I've always thought is just really difficult for the county, is you have this many tentacled octopus out there, and one cannot, communicating with the other. They might not even be talking the same fiscal language. But anyway, thank you for that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
But I would say we maintain a very good working relationships, I would say, with all offices. And during audit time, yes, it goes back and forth, but we're still able to work together. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to, we have a couple more items to go through, and we do have departments that came here for this meeting. So I want to get through those items, and then we can have a general discussion at the end. So let's move on to the next item, the next department.
Number 8 is Department of Information Technology.
Okay, so IT. Marcy, what
No.
number is that?
I'm sorry, it's number 8.
8, okay.
And I'll start reading this.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hector Roman, CIO, Director of Information Technology.
Okay.
This is a material weakness. It's a first-time finding. It kind of does tie into the cyber attack. Key applications are backed up on a regular basis. Incremental backups of active driver are performed daily, but full Active Directory backups are performed every 6 months. And the recommendation was the county should assess storage options, including on-premise storage and cloud storage options and frequency of full backups.
Okay.
So again, this item has been corrected. We invested in new backup technology, both on-premise and in the cloud. So backups, we have a schedule that we can share with you of how much or how long our backups are retained, and they're immutable, both on-premise and in the cloud.
Okay, so they're happening more.
Daily, weekly, and monthly.
Okay, great. Any questions on this one? Sounds like we're good. Okay. All right, thank you for joining us.
The next one's Personnel Human Resources. And this one also tie in, M&B will help with this one too, I believe.
Which number?
Number 9,
Number 9.
material weakness.
State your name and title for the record.
Through the chair, Donna Wilson, Personnel Human Resources Director.
Okay, Marcy.
Condition is the initial census data submitted to the actuary included several errors. The recommendation county should implement stronger controls and validation procedures over the census data to ensure accuracy before it's submitted. And the county should analyze employees who have left employment with the county and returned at a later date to determine eligibility for retiree health benefits.
Okay. Donna, go ahead.
Go ahead first, and then I will sum up.
Okay, thank you. And so I do want to pick up some of the discussion that this is the first year for finding. I also want to pick up that the positive part of the review is that when individuals retire, we do a full eligibility examination for benefits. So the census data previously had been published based on data hire and not data rehire. And so when the changeover was made, a lot of the census data, when they pulled the file, was the issue in the error.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Any
and I
questions?
just, thank you, Donna. I'd just like to add that, like just Donna mentioned, hire, rehire. But overall, at summary level, we have been trying to correct this data for last 4 or 5 years. It's not easily reportable from our PeopleSoft system back then. So you have to go to each and every employee, their file in there. But good news is, I think there's only like around 120 records left now. It just happened to be auditor picked up those transactions. It happened to be those were problematic. But other than that, I think we had a good census data, and we just have to revise the report this time. But other than that, for 5 years, we have been correcting this data again. And right now, I have the team that we are working with this just to make sure that before October or before we give it to the actuarial or census data, that we just go and try to correct those 120 records. Thank you.
I'm going to skip number 11. It's M&B. We'll come back to it, but I want to get to the other departments. The next one is number 12. It's the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and I believe Lucius or someone's here from EDC.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry, which number are we on?
Number 12.
12, okay. Name and title for the record.
DeLorean Holmes Economic Vitality Director. Lucius Anthony, Assistant Director, Economic Vitality.
Condition was during the audit, the county had not properly recognized tax capture revenue earned from 2020 through 2024, and the related amount owed from the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority to the general fund. And the recommendation was, as new revenue streams come in, we recommend that the county determine at what point the revenue should be recognized and whether any related obligations.
Status.
Yes, we agree with the recommendation. It was something that we actually identified, something that was on our radar. We have worked with MMB to resolve this, to identify the revenue, and currently we are meeting weekly to prevent future findings as well.
If I may, just to add that, so based on this finding, and again, this is new this year, it just came on the radar because of the little big dollar amount. So we are meeting like every Wednesday with the excuse me, EDD team and Corp Counsel, and we're just trying to make sure that this should not be repeated, as well as the revenue, capture revenue that we should be able to recognize based on all other expenditures, construction expenditures. So we are working like weekly meetings.
Okay. Number 13 was the indigent defense. I believe Robin Dillard is online, but Yogesh could probably address this one too. It's the activity reported for the Indigent Defense Commission Fund did not close out and accumulate all transactions within the general ledger, causing the trial balance to be out of balance. The financial closing procedure should be reviewed, enhanced, to ensure all transactions are properly captured. And I'm just not going to read the whole recommendation. I think it's have it in front of you in order to save times.
Okay, Yogesh, do you want to?
Yeah, I can address that. Okay. This is basically in our wheelhouse, I would say. So this is, again, what we are talking about. We are using a 25 years old system, JD Edwards. So it was a system glitch. It just happened at one of the AP batch. We paid, everything had happened, but somehow there was some issue happening that was not showing up as part of the balance. So with an auditor, with audit partner, even personally, we went there, we just analyzed each and every transactions to just make sure that there's a system integrity is there, which was there. It just happened to be this one isolated transaction happened. And it took us a time, almost few weeks to resolve that, with the JD Edwards support, whoever our outside support. I particularly work with the partner very closely, and we identify, excuse me, this is an error. And then I went in a test environment, we tested, and we fixed it in the production. So this is, again, isolated incidents. But again, that's one of the reasons for 20 years old system. At certain times, something is happens in cyber war. We don't know where it is. So, but this was only isolated transaction, at least I would say.
Okay.
The next one, number 15, is senior services.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask about this when we were in seniors and vets earlier, but I decided to save it for the appropriate committee. So, name and title for the record.
Good morning, William Chuck Jackson, Department Director, Senior Services.
Joan Sabrakis, Division Director, Senior Services.
Okay, Marcy.
And this one is this controls over the meal participants to ensure a review was in place to check the intake forms for the halal home delivered meals or that updated assessments were obtained for the home delivered meals. And lastly, there was not a control in place to ensure that the liquid meal participants maintain the physician order renewed every 6 months, saying that they needed additional supplement. And the recommendation, the county should implement appropriate controls to ensure meals are provided to eligible individuals.
Okay.
Yes, through the chair, we have implemented a checklist. We've added these items to our checklist to ensure that they're discussed at each supervisory meeting, and that signatures are in place to say that they've been reviewed. And if there are errors or if there are needs, that there is a follow-up process, and that starts at the coordinator level and then is reviewed by the department manager, department supervisor, and then the department manager, and then the division director to ensure that these processes are being done and completed. In most cases, they are. We just did not have a formal sign-off to say, ensure that they were written down, and that now has been corrected. The other thing that we've also doing is we're currently working with the IT department, and they're developing a brand new database for us, a client management database that will allow us to provide email alerts to everyone involved in the assessment or reassessment process to ensure that, and also for the liquid nutrition reauthorizations, that when they're due, they'll be in the new system, which we hope to have in place in the new year, in the new calendar year. That system will send out email alerts to everyone indicating that either reauthorizations are due or reassessments are due. And because right now, the entire process is manual.
Okay, great.
And our last one, coming back to management budget number 11, liability balances.
Thank you for joining us.
Sorry.
Kind of rush. Liability balances in the impressed payroll fund were not reviewed, reconciled, or adjusted. Recommendations, county should implement controls to reconcile and adjust impressed payroll activity and determine how to complete the annual payroll reconciliation that incorporates data from the new payroll system.
Yeah, once again, to the chair, this is a new finding this year. And again, we went live with the HCM module like July, August, September. So I think the last quarter, by the time data conversion, integration was working, testing. So it just took us a lot of time. And I think I had my, assistant director probably took a charge, and Amar was working constantly just to make sure. The challenge was JD Edwards still in accounting, but HCM is an audit. So we were just doing, I call it reverse engineering. We are using old chart of accounts. So with a new chart of accounts, we were converting through a cross mapping to an old chart of accounts. So there was a lot of other challenges were there. And I think it's being corrected at this point. I think we are current, if I'm not mistaken, Amar. Yeah, okay. We are current, but first few months is any, systems like this with the entity like this, it takes a time to stabilize. So that was particularly about payroll impressed account. This finding is about.
Sounds good, Marcy.
Nobody has any questions. I'll just kind of wrap it up, thanking all the department heads and elected officials for coming today to address all these findings. I know they're very important that we get them addressed and we reduce the number of repeat findings. And especially thank you for the team that's sitting here at the table, Yogesh, Amar, and Shantika. I think when the audit is done, it's a lot of time and they do a great job getting it completed on time with all the complexity in the county. And something to your opinion that you asked for earlier, I've been at the county for 27 years and the county's always been a complex operation. But I think what is key is having policy and procedures and processes in place, consistency in staffing, enough staffing to make so that you can ensure that approvals are done when needed, reconciliations are completed, and also having a good system in place. And I'm hoping that once the new ERP system, that will be a system that will take the county into the next generation. Because like I said, for 27 years, the systems have been, we didn't know if JD was actually going to make it.
Right, for sure. Okay, great. Thank you so much for.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, all of you.
Great. Can I get a motion to, is this, what are we doing here? Is this receive and file? Receive and file, item number 1. Been moved by Commissioner Garza, supported by Commissioner Peterson Mayberry. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? Okay, motion passes. All right, item number 2. Can we get a motion to pass that for the day? And we'll bring that back next meeting. Yeah, because we're just out of time. Okay, do you need to read that out loud for the record? Item number 2.
Item 2, a presentation by the Department of Management and Budget on the results of the fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report.
Okay. Who?
And technically, we don't need a motion because it's just a presentation.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
We
Okay.
can just put it back on the next one.
Okay. Next item then.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Okay, there are none. Next item.
G, public comments.
Is there anyone who wishes to make a public comment today? Anyone online or on Zoom? Any emails?
No emails have been received.
Okay. Anyone wish to make a public comment? Committee on Audit. This is your second call. And your last call for public comments. Hearing none. Next item.
Adjournment.
Is there a motion to move adjourn by Commissioner Garza? Is there support?
Support.
It's been support.
Once again,
No, if there's no objection, we are now